This is Wolfototech with rumor and updates. Okay, we all know Emily Rogers. There's all the articles shooting around about Splatoon and Super Mario Maker being in development for the Nintendo NX. Uh, as you probably may have read, there is there are the reason why they are not 100% is because they're having trouble porting it due to two issues: porting data over from the Wii versions to the NX versions, and controller issues. And the port over issues are basically as stated: having difficulty making the stages that were already made in Super Mario Maker compatible between the two versions, and in the case of Splatoon, carrying over your progress from the Wii U version of Splatoon to the NX version of Splatoon. And then there's also stated issues with controllers, with controller compatibility. Uh, so with inclusion of Splatoon and Super Mario Maker to the list of NX games potential, because they're still potential, Nintendo's having issues porting them over. I've decided to very quickly, make a list of all the rumored NX games, and I realized I forgot to write a few down at some point, and I don't have records of them anymore, but I do have a pretty large list even without all of them. And I will basically list them off and bang zoom give you probabilities on them and number of sources and stuff like that. The first one is an old one. This one was never stated to be an NX game. However, considering that this is officially from Nintendo and was never stated as to what system and never promoted or anything like that, not to mention this game has a history of being a launch title, it's Pikmin 4. Now, Shigeru Miyamoto, talking about one day during an interview, he brought up that Pikmin 4 is in development. Didn't give any more details than that. And at some point in the future, he is interested in going back to Super Mario Galaxy and playing around with concepts from that game. But according to Shigeru Miyamoto, the genius at Nintendo, know that it comes up with insane ideas for games. Pikmin 4 is in development, and he even stated it's near completion. Now, the Pikmin games are fun little strategy games, uh, real time strategy. I was gonna say RTS, but then I said, yeah, that is. They're really simple, very well crafted strategy games. Uh, Historically, throughout the entire franchise, it's been predominantly a launch title or a launch window game franchise. The original Pikmin came out for the GameCube. Pikmin 2 came out for the GameCube. Then Pikmin 3 came out for the Wii. I think Wii U. I had to double check that again. But yeah, came out for the Wii U early on. And then there was new play control Pikmin for the Wii, which was not terribly far after the launch. So that is my five. That's the first one, and that's a 5-star probability of a Wii U game, not a Wii U game, NX game, because Pikmin is a launch title franchise. It's one of those games like F-Zero and Pilot Wings. They're typically games that Nintendo releases for launch titles for systems. Interestingly enough, there's no Pilot Wings listed anywhere in the list, and there's no F-Zero. I am so sorry. Uh, see, this is, I'm gonna go and talk about this in another video, but how Nintendo wants to have some innovation in a game franchise before they bring out a new installment. The next one has been confirmed up the rear end is Legend, well, not by Nintendo, but has been stated by many super good sources really close, including Emily Rogers and Gino, Legend of Zelda NX, which is the NX version of the new Wii U game. Memo that. And that one is a highly probable one, and it is stated to be either early in the window, either alongside the Wii U version or shortly after that. So I'm not gonna jump too far down that one and leave it at that. Another one, the third game, is Super Smash Bros. NX. This has been stated by Emily Rogers. This has been stated by Gino, Super Metal Dave, all really good source people coming about Nintendo games. And there's a high probability, and Sirkan Toto, another super awesome source, has also hinted at another Super Smash Brothers game, a launch window title, and if the NX is coming, I keep saying Wii U. Of course, there's a lot of Wii U, and there's even a GameCube game on my list or two. But Super Smash Brothers for the Wii U and the 3DS may have a new sibling in the NX version. Then here's another one. This is the fourth one. I really need to number these things. Otherwise, I'm going to lose track as I'm going along. And you guys are going to go insane because I'm losing. I need to put more effort into writing my notes down better. Otherwise, I just end up repeating the same facts over and over again, and you guys get sick of it. And I realize that, and I am working very hard on doing that. The fourth game is Beyond Good and Evil 2, Prejudice of Philosophers. This is a Ubisoft game, and Ubisoft has stated in the past that they've been working on this game. They've been working on this game forever. And at some point, it kind of fell off radar officially, but Ubisoft reminds people periodically that it's still around and it's still in development. My personal theory was that Ubisoft made Beyond Good and Evil 2 for the Nintendo Wii U. And that's not a slip up on the tongue. They made it for the Wii U and then saw that the Wii U was not selling too well and held it over until Nintendo made a more powerful system and gone from there. And Ubisoft has literally stated that they have made games. They have made games for the Nintendo Wii U, but never released them. And the reason was there's not enough people on the system. And my thing, it's basically a chicken or the egg, chicken versus the egg situation here. Video game developers want more people in a platform, so when they release their game, there's more people to buy that game. Now, in order for there to be enough people to buy that game, there has to be more games. And in order for there to be more games for a platform, there has to be the promise or the literal existence of a lot of gamers on a platform. If the Nintendo Wii U shot up another 10 million units sold, and it's approximately around 13 million units right now. Last January it was up to 12 million, so it should be around 13. Moving on, it'll pick up once Star Fox Zero pops out, and it's gonna pick up when Tokyo Sessions pops out, and it's gonna get a bump up on a few other games and Paper Mario Color Splash, but that's another thing. And there you go. I just rambled off again. But you understand the point. It potentially was already Beyond Good and Evil 2 was already probably made for the Wii U, and Ubisoft said we're not gonna put it out there, and now it's coming to the most likely coming to the NX. Now the fifth game, and this is a really good one. This was actually hinted by official sources at Square Enix that Dragon Quest X is very much, very, 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 very much looking to go to the NX. And they even included it and then removed the reference because they don't want to get ahead of themselves. And that goes into number 6, which is Dragon Quest XI, which is also was stated in the same conference and the same advertisement for the game to be an NX game. Also, we're still on Square Enix here. We go into 7 here, and which is interestingly enough, Final Fantasy VII Remake Definitive Edition. And this comes from 2 different sources. I lost one person's name, and the other person is Super Metal Dave, who has some incredibly good source that he may or may not have access to anymore. But before he deleted all those videos, he deleted a bunch of those videos, and well, he uploaded the videos, then he deleted them. Final Fantasy VII Remake Definitive Edition was on that list, and it was a part of what Super Metal Dave's sources brought to him. Yet Super Metal Dave has pretty much just closed up, and he has stopped reporting on such things. So apparently he got yelled at really badly, went underground for 2 weeks, and then crept back onto YouTube and onto his page, and he's just basically just doing standard Let's Play stuff now. So Final Fantasy VII Remake Definitive Edition. Every time I see this game pop up, Super Metal Dave and Gino and a couple other really good sources that usually hammer things dead on with facts. So we already have another Square Enix game. Number 8, I'm trying to use proper sign language. Number 8 is Final Fantasy 15, which is also stated to be coming to the Nintendo NX. It was accidentally leaked by Square Enix a little bit, and it's also reconfirmed with multiple other sources. That is a game that's highly in the pipeline towards the Nintendo NX. So right off the bat, we're getting Final Fantasy 15 really soon. We have Dragon Quest X, 11, 7, and 15 all pointed in on the NX. Now, on to number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. Okay. Number 9 is Super Mario NX, which is rumored to be similar to Super Mario Sunshine. This came in from a source uh, that I noted down, and then the person A, the original source, posted this, as well as a bunch of other games that are on this list, with some really interesting information that collaborated with other information that was not entirely pointed out, but looks really good according to various other sources I've been working around. But we're into the low probability. The I have a 1 to 5 star system here on my rumored games, and this is a 2-star game. This is relatively low, but not that high. Uh, Super Mario NX is a 5/3. I'm basically saying there's going to be a Super Mario game on a 5. That's a given, but the Super Mario Sunshine esque characteristic is a 3, and Shigeru Miyamoto even said a few things like he's interested in that once again. And people are really interested in a Super Mario Sunshine, another game like Super Mario Sunshine. Now here's a 2-star. This is 10. Interestingly, you wiggle your thumb for 10, uh, which is Luigi's Mansion. And I believe this is Luigi's Mansion 3, but it was not listed as Luigi's Mansion 3. Is it a remake of the original Luigi's Mansion, or is it just Luigi's Mansion 3? I do not know. This is yet again on that one source that posted his information on Reddit, deleted it, but someone else screen capped it, and then brought it up in a blog, Battlefield blog, and then another outlet grabbed it, and I grabbed it right after that. Uh, that is interesting in itself. Then there's number 11, which is, and that would be FIFA 2017. Why do I keep on saying 26? Every time I say that FIFA 2017, I end up saying 2016. And yet again, there is some information pointing to this. EA's heavily in talks with Nintendo. There's a bunch of information floating around that, just out this edge, that points to it, but it's not dead on. Uh, that is a low ranking one, and personally I'm not a sports person, so it's not that big of a deal to me. And then we actually have another Square Enix game, but this time through its European branch, IDOS, which is number 12 here, Deus Ex Mankind Divided. And seeing that Square Enix is strongly moving back towards Nintendo, and there's been a lot of recent Square Enix games coming out on the 3DS and a few other things, and Square Enix seems to be moving back towards Nintendo a little more fully now. Uh, this is actually looking pretty good. Uh, Interesting, but pretty good. Considering that the NX is believed to be a x86 architecture system, it's going to have a more powerful CPU and GPU than the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, potentially up to 15 to 25% more powerful. But those are guesstimations based on people who say they're developers and some people who are verified to have connections to developers in the video game industry. So there's indications that the NX is at least at the minimum range 15 to 25% more powerful than the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. But then there's also other sources that are really good that point higher. So there. Then now on to 13. is Mass Effect Trilogy. This game was originally intended to be released on the Wii U, but EA kind of looked at the lagging sales of the Wii U and decided no, and considering that they released a Wii U definitive edition of Mass Effect 3 for the Wii U, and then was supposed to release Trilogy after that, that's kind of weird. If anything, if anything, you should have EA could have just like went and said, we're gonna just release Mass Effect 1 Wii U Definitive Edition, Mass Effect 2 Wii U Definitive Edition, Mass Effect 3 Wii U Definitive Edition, and then released. I'm adding definitive because it would be the definitive because it would be the newest version, and then release the trilogy, and that would have milked more money, and EA would love me for that. But that's another point. And that was already in works for the Wii U. Nintendo, for some strange reason, wanted the Mass Effect franchise on the Nintendo systems, but just couldn't get EA to go all the way through with it. Then number 14 is, as I said, Super Mario Maker. This was recently talked about by Emily Rogers, which is a really good source. And as pointed out, the reason why it's not absolutely on the yes is because Nintendo is having difficulty with connecting the Wii U version to the NX version. They're making a new NX version of Super Mario Maker, but they're having issues having the ability to connect the two so you can carry over your made courses from Super Mario Maker Wii U edition or the Wii U version of Super Mario Maker. So that is one problem. That is one problem. The second problem that Nintendo is having is controller issues. Controller issues on the Wii U, not the Wii U version, but on the NX version, and apparently the main NX controllers are just different enough from a Wii U gamepad that they are having difficulty translating the Wii U gamepad controller functions to the NX controller. And that goes into 15. Oh yeah, I forgot. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You wiggle the thumb. You wiggle the thumb a little bit for 10. Uh, but for 15 is Splatoon for the NX, and yet again that's the same issue. But Nintendo's having issue. Nintendo wants the ability for you to carry over your progress from the Wii U version to the NX version. So all the time you've taken to level up your squid or kid or squid or please answer below if you're a kid or a squid. But but Nintendo's having issue transferring, making it so you could transfer over your progress to the NX version. Also, they're having difficulty with the controller. And then on to 16 is Mass Effect Andromeda. Mass Effect Andromeda, which is also from that one guy that posted his information, and then there was some decent sources that say, yeah, that's good, and then the original poster deleted it, and someone else screen capped it and brought it out. Oh, this is not a terribly big rumored game, but it is still a game that is probable. It's by EA BioWare, and there's a good possibility of that. So there. Uh, the next game, which is 17, which is the 17th one, which is Call of Duty. Activision, of course. You know, at the beginning of the Wii U, there was a few Call of Duties for the Wii U. At the beginning, on the Nintendo Wii, it was Call of Duties for the Wii. And with the GameCube, there was Call of Duties. Call of Duties are everywhere. This is a non-rumor. It's gonna be on the Wii U. It's gonna be on the Nintendo NX. Call of Duty will be on the NX. The question is it just gonna be the first two games, the first two new games at the beginning of the NX launch, and then does Activision say like, and quit? And personally, it doesn't bother me, but it might bother you, because I play the crap out of Call of Duty Black Ops, and I mostly zombies, and played Black Ops 2, and played a bit of this, and played some Extinction and Ghosts, and I'm at that point where, I really can't play too much Call of Duty anymore. I might at some point throw Black Ops or World at War in and play some zombies, and I might post that to the channel, and you get to hear my horrible, horrible, horrible zombie jokes. But occasionally there's a golden one in there. But that's for another time. Then there is, for 18th one, is Battlefield, which was from the same guy that posted information and then deleted it. But other people said, other reliable sources and decent sources said a lot of the information in that post is pretty decent, and yeah, it's Battlefield, and that's part of EA, and there's a good chance that the first new Battlefield game released early in the NX's life will be on the NX, and the question is, does it continue from there? What's your thoughts on it? Then 19 is Xenoblade Chronicles X. And this was mentioned by Emily Rogers. I don't know if she just simply brought it up as it's possible. Don't laugh at Sony ponies for having a system that's mostly loaded with remasters. The NX is going to have a bunch of remasters, and this is a potential example. And yeah. So, I have a question for you. The final question. If the NX is launched with a pile of remastered Wii and Wii U games, and some new ones, would you be still excited? Now, in the case of some of these things, I would be interested in them, but my also side problem is that if the remasters become too prevalent, it's gonna blow. Also, the fact that there's many recent indications that there's gonna be multiple remastered games for the NX, and the fact that the Nintendo NX is shifting from a PowerPC CPU to a x86 CPU, and translating between the two is difficult. unless Nintendo decides to build in a PowerPC CPU. So you would have the x86 CPU, the PowerPC CPU, and the graphics card. The Nintendo NX would most likely will not have backwards compatibility, which in case means that whatever games that don't get remastered from the Wii U to the NX are going to be locked up on the Wii U. And considering that there's only about plus 13 million units in the world, collecting for the Wii U might get hard at some point. So, if you're a video game collector, the time is now to collect for the Wii U. Start collecting the games. Get the system, collect the games. If you don't feel like grabbing the system, at least grab the games. Well, that is my final thought. You really should consider getting a Wii U still if you don't have one. And most definitely get the games. But we might also get new versions for the NX. So, thank you very much for checking out my video. Don't forget to visit the subscribe button. It gets lonely from time to time if you're not subscribed. And please see if the voting system works. If you vote down, please tell me in the section below why you voted down. Also, do not flame people for telling me why they voted down my video. Also, as part of the comment section, please feel free to leave questions, information, and I have no problem with people promoting their channels on my channel, just as long as you don't do it as a reply to someone else's comment. Thank you very much. Have a nice night, a delightful day, a wonderful week, and a magnificent month. And someone please come up with an awesome word to go with Y for year.